If you really want to understand who's taking control of America and our government, it's these three groups right here. And this is something that I think millions of Americans need to know and understand. Because if you ever want to solve a problem, you first have to understand what the problem is and who's responsible for it. And that's why I'm going to ask that this video be shared far and wide. A recent video that I did was reposted over 26,000 times, but the information I'm going to share with you today is much more important. And if for some reason we can manufacture a miracle, and this information can be reposted and shared over 1,000,000 times, we could begin to solve this problem faster than any of us probably imagined that it could be done. Now, these three groups are the shadow American axis. Most people think that Trump is the biggest threat to our democracy. He's not the biggest threat. He is the person to blame, but he's not the biggest threat. These three groups right here are. The first group is the dark MAGA mafia. They consist of key players that used to be part of the PayPal mafia from Silicon Valley. They follow a philosophy or a theory called dark enlightenment from an individual named Curtis Yarvin. They believe that democracy has failed and is inefficient and that they need to install a CEO-like dictatorship. Now, don't buy into their bullshit that democracy has failed. The only reason democracy is being taken over is because of all the special interests and all the forces like these people trying to take control over our democracy. If democracy was truly represented by the people, for the people, democracy would be thriving. These same people are the reason that our democracy is being taken away from us. So going to the dark MAGA mafia, they consist of people like J.D. Vance, Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, David Sachs, and many others from Silicon Valley. They are some of the most wealthy individuals in our nation, and they control much of the traditional media and social media. Now, their end goal is to install a puppet-like dictator, and that individual is J.D. Vance. He is their right-hand guy. J.D. Vance has been groomed for this to take over after Trump as their puppet dictator. Now, their ambitions are to create a surveillance state. You have to understand that these people only care about absolute control and exploitation, period. They are takers, not givers, and they don't give a shit about society or democracy. Now, the second group right here is the pro-Israel Zionists. And they consist of people like Jared Kushner, Stephen Miller, Miriam Adelson, Larry E., Marco Rubio, and many, many others. Now, this group is most or cares most about only ensuring the survival of the Jewish state. And they want to embed themselves in government as much as possible to control our politics and our representation so they can ensure that survival of the Jewish state. Now, going even deeper, their ultimate goal would be to have the United States help them eliminate the regime in Iran. They want to replace the Iranian government and destroy it. That would be their ultimate goal. Now let's move on to the white nationalists and Project 2025. He consists of people like Russell Voigt, Stephen Miller again, Pete Hegseth, Steve Bannon, and many, many others. Now, some people call these people Christian nationalists. Don't call them Christian nationalists because they have more in common with Satan than they do with Christianity. Now, these people, their ultimate goal is to tear down democracy and install a theocracy, meaning a religious state based on some form of perverted Christianity. They are nothing more than religious fascists who want to control how you think and how you behave. Now, if you understand the Constitution, you realize the Constitution is a secular document, meaning that no laws are supposed to be created based on religion. These people want to tear down democracy and the Constitution and replace it with a theocracy. And you may ask, which one of these groups is the most influential? And I would say it's most likely Project 2025 and the Heritage Foundation and these white nationalists. And it's because they have a very clear, unified plan with Project 2025 to tear down our democracy. The group on the dark MAGA mafia, They are a little bit more fragmented, and they are positioning themselves for as much control and power as possible. The final question you might have is, how can we prevent it? How can we stop it? And how can we bring representation back to the people? Well, I have a plan, and if 50 to 70 million people wanted to recognize the true problem in our political system is these special interests and these groups with incredible amounts of power that have been polluting and corrupting our political system, we certainly could do it. And that's why first I ask you to please share this far and wide and read A Citizen's Plan to bring representation back to the people. I will never ask you for your vote, but I will ask you for your support for my plan, and that is to oppose both political parties and replace all existing career politicians with temporary civic servants. So please read the plan below, find the link underneath my profile, and share, share, and share.